Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim in Green Bay, here to talk some Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears, as we're closing in on game day coming up here on Sunday. Noon kickoff at Lambeau. Cold weather. Chicago Bears in town. It don't get any better than that. But before we get started into all that information, let's give a quick shout out to the good folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since '92, specializing in Packers tickets. They are Wisconsin's largest ticket source with offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Click on the link in the video description and they'll send you to their website, theticketking.com. You can go ahead and start shopping around for your Packers tickets. Don't miss out on the opportunity to see the Packers whoop up on the Bears this Sunday. Go to ticketking.com and get you some tickets. Again, that's Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. All right, Tim, man, how you doing today? Obviously, we got a different setup. Hopefully, everything sounds okay. I am way uncomfortable being this close to the camera, but it is what it is, man. How you doing, bub?
Doing good and feeling great, The Bears still suck. Go Pack, go. It's going to be a beautiful Sunday, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Completely agree, man. Everybody says it sounds good, so we should be good to go, man. The only problem there, Raider McCready, appreciate you, buddy, is the screen I'm using is like tiny. I mean tiny. So I'm old man Papaw Bailey over here trying to read the chat and everything. So hopefully everything works.
Respect Orange just says, Clayton's in a safe house this time? Coming to you live from an undisclosed location.
Hey, every now and again, you got to take the deal, man. When you take the deal, you end up in witness protection. Here we are, right?
They're going to see the Harley parked out front, man.
Exactly. No, we're at Mandy's sister's house, and this is her husband's office, which, hey, Tim, the first thing I did, we came in here and set everything up, and I'm like, hey, I got to find a football. You got a football laying around here anywhere?
Oh, nice.
It's one of the old school, too, the college ball, right? So
look, let's play a little catch.
There you go. Cool. No, I can't break anything. These people, listen, we're on this huge cliff line in Chattanooga, right? These people, I'm whispering because I don't want them to hear me. They're uppity. These are uppity ass people, right? I'm just telling you right now. All right? way uncomfortable tonight. So, got to stretch yourself every now and again, right? Let's go to the chat. Let's get this thing started right. Christian says, good evening, y'all. I'm worried Evan Williams won't be ready for the playoffs. Listen, I had no worries at all, Chris, and then Tim had to hit me in the face with it a couple nights ago and be like, are we sure Evan's going to play in the playoffs? I'm like, oh, boy. So, obviously,
playoffs?
It's funny, Tim, leading up to this year, you've always heard me use that measuring stick like, well, okay, they didn't put him on ours, so it should be less than 4 weeks. You can throw that out the window now. My God. And how many people have we seen that happened to this year? Not just Jai. It seems like there's several people that it stretched beyond that 4-week window, and lo and behold, they wasn't ready to go. So yep. I don't know, man. How are you feeling about Evan Williams? And we'll hit the injury report here in a second.
I think what you just mentioned, though, is kind of indicative of the league as a whole. It's not just the Packers that we've seen that with. I think, going to injured reserve or not going to injured reserve, that's kind of a tactic I think teams are using to just hold out hope that a guy can make it back. Because, you'd hate to put a guy on IR, and lose him for minimum of 4 weeks when maybe it's 1 or 2 games and he could be back. And I got to think that's what they were thinking with Jair. Hopefully that's what they've been thinking. I mean, we saw that song and dance early in the year with Marshawn Lloyd. We were holding on to hope before they finally had to set him to IR. So I think this late in the game, though, you're just fingers crossed no matter what, regardless of what the situation is. And, I'm not a pessimist when it comes to Evan Williams, but it has been a couple of weeks, right, with that quad injury. And, we're starting to scratch our heads. I will say this. I doubt he plays on Sunday. Hopefully he's back.
Yeah, he's definitely not playing Sunday. I think, as a matter of fact, I think we've got the injury report.
Right? Updated injury report? Okay.
Yeah, let's stop it.
He's ruled out, yeah.
Yeah, if I can read this anyway, let's hope I can. We'll do our best here. But just going down the line, let me kill my camera so I can get up close. All right, here we go. If the camera comes back on, that's what you are going to see right here.
I got you, Clay. I can almost see it.
All right, go ahead and read it if you can, man. Let's hear it.
I meant the injury report, not the boogers in your nose there,
Yeah, I
buddy.
appreciate that. Yeah.
No, updated injury report. Shocking news. Jair Alexander, he's not going to play. He's out. Big surprise to everyone that's been following. Zane Anderson still in the concussion protocol. He's been ruled out. Did not participate at all this week. Chris Brooks, running back with an ankle. He was limited Wednesday and Thursday. Today, full participant, no game status designation. So it looks like he's going to go. Javon Bullard, of course, our favorite /safety. Ankle injury, limited Wednesday and Thursday, limited today as well. No designation, so we still don't know. Brenton Cox Jr. with the foot injury did not participate all week. He is questionable, so that, we always talk about questionable, right, Clay? That's like a 50-50 shot here that maybe he plays.
Yeah.
We've got Andre Dillard with a concussion, did not participate all week. He's been ruled out. Josh Jacobs with the wrist injury. I'm assuming it looked like he picked that one up after that fumble when it was punched out there. It looked like he landed funny, so he's had a wrist issue this week. He was a full participation designation today. Excuse me. So looks like he's going to be good to go. Elton Jenkins, veteran rest, limited all week until today, full participant. He's probably going to go. Tuck Norris, same thing, limited Wednesday and Thursday, full participant today, probably going to go. Quay Walker ruled out. Another week without Quay. Hopefully he's back for the playoffs. He did not participate this week. Christian Watson with the knee injury did not participate last 2 days, limited today, still questionable. So there is a chance we see him Sunday against the Bears, but we'll see. And Evan Williams, the guy, the man of the hour, the one we were talking about, the quad injury, not a participant at all this week. He's been ruled out. And Devontae Wyatt with the concussion, he is a full participant all week, no game status, so still in the protocol. I'm assuming they're doing final tests to see if he's good to go against the Bears.
Yeah, and really no big surprises here. This is kind of what I wanted to see, Yeah. I will say this, like with Christian Watson being questionable, Tim, I hope they hold him out, Yeah. And I think there's been some talk on Twitter. If we have time, we'll walk through Twitter and look at social media. J. Cole, we're in complete agreement there. Just keep him out, right? Let him rest up. And if anybody knows Christian Watson, he's going to want to be out there, right? That dude's always kind of battle and be on the field, but sometimes you got to protect these guys. Listen, there's a chance the Bears pull off an upset here, especially if you do have, 4 or 5 people out. It ain't the end of the world if it happens, right? I mean, if Washington wins with a 7 seed anyway, now you'd like to have that last game of the year at Lambeau be a butt kicking for the Bears, just to kind of send them home with a worst case scenario for them, right? After they got booed off.
Send them home looking like that guy right there,
Exactly. After getting booed off their home field like that, man, that was the icing on the cake for me. I was going, holy cow, they have hit rock bottom in Chicago. And I seem like I heard earlier today, you guys correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but I think I seen something about Mike Vrabel is going to be going to the New York Jets and talking to them about potentially, entering his name into that hat there to be the next Jets coach. So that's going to be interesting. As soon as I seen that, I went, yes, let him go there. I don't want Vrabel in Chicago, especially with that defense the way they are right now. They've got a solid defense. They really do. And I was looking at a number earlier today too, and I think their sack leader has 5.5 sacks. Guys, that's one of the best defenses in the league, and he only has 5.5 sacks. And I'm looking at Gary with, whatever it is, 6.5, whatever he's got right now. And it's like that might become a new trend with some of the top defenses, is like teams not being so focused on, hey, this is our sack getter, right? It's more kind of containing the defense. You'll take sacks, obviously, and that was a big conversation on the morning show. But let's go to the chat here real quick, Tim. Anything else you want to hit on there from the injury report anyway? Anything on the Packers side? I'm sorry.
No, just Evan Williams, obviously the man to watch right now. I would say between Christian Watson, Evan Williams, and Quay Walker, those are the 3 you really want to keep an eye on the next week or so. See how things pan out. Hopefully we get all 3 of them back for the playoffs.
Yeah, and a few people on the Bears side, if I read it here correctly, you've got Elijah Hicks, defensive back, ankle foot injury, he's out. Tevin Jenkins, offensive lineman with a calf injury, he's out. And I believe that is Travis Homer, running back with a hamstring. He's out. So just to kind of keep an eye on that. Everybody else pretty much full participation. So they're going to be missing 3 players as well, in addition to the players that are on the IR already. So we'll see what happens out there, man. Again, I think you want to create create momentum. You kind of lost momentum last week, right? I think we would all agree with that. Some of us took that loss, that 2-point loss to the Vikings, a lot harder than others, but you want to regain that momentum a little bit, finish the season strong. The last thing you want is to go into playoffs losing 2 in a row, right? And just say, well, we sat our starters. That doesn't change the fact that you're 0-2, your last 2 games and going into the playoffs. So you definitely want to try to pick back up where you left off earlier in the year for sure. Let's see here. Taylor Bell in the chat said, Clayton, would you trade Calvin Ridley from the Titans, like give up a couple picks? He would be a good mentor and reliable hands and route running. He's 30, but you can get a good 2 years. With Calvin Ridley, I'm not as interested in him, but I got to admit it's kind of a skewed perspective when it comes to Calvin Ridley, because it's like that offense was trash this year, right?
Yeah.
So you really don't get a good gauge of does he have much left in the tank, My personal opinion, I want to say no to that. But Taylor, if it's a good cheap deal and you give up a couple late round picks and you do get a guy in here that, like you said, can maybe be a mentor, but then you got to ask yourself, is he a good mentor? And in no way, shape, or form am I trying to like dog Calvin Ridley, but I mean, the reality is he got suspended for gambling, right? So it's like, is that the best mentor? Is that the best message to send to your players if you bring someone like that in? I really like the receiving core we've got. And when you've heard me say, hey, look, are we close enough to follow Bill Walsh's advice and say, okay, the last piece you put in place is that wide receiver? I think we can do better than Ridley, right? Maybe this is the year you would get aggressive, trade up in the draft and go get like a really good wide receiver, right? Maybe the top on your board, something like that. I would like that over like a Calvin Ridley. That's just me personally. But Tim, what do you think about the Calvin Ridley question there, man? I don't think it's a silly question. It's just I think it's a no for me.
Yeah, I'm leaning no also, and I don't think it's a silly question. I think there's nothing wrong with looking at whether it's wide receiver room or any other room position group on this team and trying to get better. I would agree with you. I don't think Calvin Ridley's the guy. And I also don't like the idea of giving up draft picks for veteran receivers. I don't. Now, like you said, if it's late round, right, you're talking the 6th or 7th or something, and maybe a chunk of change. Okay, that's different. But I mean, we've been down this road. We've been down the Sammy Watkins road, and we've brought veteran receivers to Green Bay before, and I'm with you, Clay. I like this wide receiver room that we have. I'm more concerned about keeping Rome and Scoot on this team, along with Jaden Reed and Bo and Tay Wicks and Malik Heath and all of them, because the sky's the limit, really. And we're a couple of years into a large experiment here with the youngest team in the league. So I'm going to vote no on that as well.
Yeah, and every rep that someone like Calvin Ridley would get obviously is going to take meaningful reps away from a younger receiver. And I know it feels like we make the same argument every single year, but I think my stance on that's the same. Now, when you said, gosh, what was his name?
Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, that's a good comp. It kind of feels like that would be a Sammy Watkins top. You know what I mean? Like, hey, here's a receiver who has proven he can play at this level. He's probably got better hands than anyone on the team. I think we feel comfortable saying that. But again, Sammy Watkins, he wasn't the answer. I think we would all agree. We got Jacob joining us now. Jacob, how you doing, Bubba?
How you guys doing? Happy New Year.
Hey,
Happy New Year, Beard.
We're just sitting here talking a little wide receiver.
I came in here talking Sammy Watkins. That's what we're doing.
Hey, this is what you sign up for, baby. This is
all right. Let's go.
Yeah. Sammy Watkins was not mentioned in the chat here. We do want to defend Taylor here.
I'm the one who mentioned him.
Put that name in my mouth right there.
Jacob, you could thank Justin for that, by the way. Justin's the reason we have that drop.
Yeah, he told me he was going to clip it. Yeah.
There you go. Joe in the chat says, try to start off 2025 off good. Had hopes. Now, after finally deciding which jersey I want, I found out the Packers Pro Shop doesn't have a Cooper jersey in white. Why even try, man? Hey, I'll tell you this, Joe. That's the jersey I'm going for, too. That's my next one. The one to actually wear, I actually showed the guys the other day. I got a 1950s throwback version of that jersey from pristineauctions.com, and it's signed by Edgerrin Cooper. I'm really excited about that, adding that to the studio. But in terms of like my next, I just love linebacker jerseys. I don't know why. Those are my favorite. So I'm gonna be getting me an Edgerrin Cooper one as well.
Yeah. Joe, don't feel too bad because the away jerseys are some of the hardest to come by, and them going to the winter warning, the icy white, the all white, whatever you want to call it, that didn't help the cause either. They're probably even tougher to get now. I've been looking for a Jair Alexander white jersey for like the last 4 years, and I've had no luck whatsoever. So you're not alone, brother. Not alone.
Yeah. And Joe said, could do it custom. It was between Cooper and Kraft. Jacob, a white Tucker Kraft jersey looked pretty cool too, wouldn't it, man?
Oh, I love it. I actually, some of the only actual jerseys I had, you guys saw the other day, I was wearing the Lindicki one, which unfortunately is stained with some ketchup. I don't buy anything.
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
I'm like a child. I can't be trusted with white clothing. Are you kidding me? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's hard to keep them clean. That's for sure, man. Was that one autographed too, Jake?
It was, yes, it was, and it was a very clean autograph. If you guys had to pick a player right now, current, who would you rather have autographed? For me, it's I'd love a Tuck Norris jersey autographed by him.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tim. What would yours be right now, man?
Jay freaking Money, the dime thrower. Jay Money all day.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, it's, when I get a jersey, when I get an autographed jersey, I try to think, all right, who's the guy who's going to be, in Green Bay long term? And I always think what's going to carry the most value long term, although I'm never going to sell it. I don't know why I even worry about that. It should just be, hey, I'm excited about this player. But Edgerrin Cooper is the one that comes to mind for me, boys. I think we're going to look up in a couple of years and go, I'll be damned, this dude's one of the best linebackers in the league, and possibly one of the best linebackers in the history of the Packers, So,
for sure.
There you go, Chris. Did you pull that up, Jacob? Did you do that?
No, that was me. I did it. Chris N's got Joe.
We did it at the same time, Tim. That's exactly.
Tim about to get a white 23 on sale soon. All right. Take it easy.
Calm down. Take it easy over there.
Take it easy. As long as it's the one he was wearing in this clip right here.
Took it down the sideline, turned over with my guys, gave the football to a little kid wearing 23.
Thanks,
hey,
Josh.
man.
We'll always have that game.
Jair's been a spark plug, right? Like there's been a lot of not negative conversation around. There's been a lot of people defending him. But one thing you can say about Jai, he has given us more fun moments like that than probably any Packer in the last 10 years. He's just been awesome to watch. So,
sure. I would say Jair and probably Jamal Williams, right? I mean, Jamal was here, man. Nothing but entertainment.
Yeah, for sure. Daryl in the chat, good to see you, buddy. Says, I think the Packers will still hold their own against the Bears, even probably talking about even with the injuries. Absolutely, man. I think it'll be a good game. It'll be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be cold. The thing that worries me a little bit is Josh Jacobs. Like, I don't want to get into a situation where we're running him 25, 30 times in that ball game. You know what I mean? I feel like let's lean on the backups in that regard there.
I hope I'm not over talking, but have y'all already covered that? What your thoughts are about who should and should not play in that game? Because that was kind of what I only got a couple of minutes. I might have to run early, but I was hoping that we could talk about that as what you guys' thoughts are on
as far as running backs.
Just the necessity to maybe play starters in general. Yeah, just like, do we want to? Is it more important to absolutely stomp those freaking Bears, or is it more important to get our team more ready for the playoffs kind of thing? Because I honestly, there's argument for both. You know what I mean? Like,
I was just going to say the answer is yes. Let's do all of that. Let's play the starters. Let's get up. Let's get a lead, and then pull them out, and let the supporting cast come out there and finish the game. That's ideal, right, Jacob? But I hear what you're saying. You're kind of thinking along the lines of maybe some guys don't even see the field at all. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, and this is not even trying to be clickbaity or whatever. I don't think the Bears deserve to see our starters. I don't think there's I really don't. They don't deserve.
Still suck.
Exactly. They don't deserve to see our starters, man. They don't. They're not a team that's worth going out there for, other than the fact that guys got some egos on both sides, right? Everybody wants to play that game. That's a rivalry 100%. But if I'm Matt LaFleur, I'm trying to figure out how I maximize one on the front end, like the momentum going into that rivalry game, or the fact that we just, like you talked about with Jacobs, we just make sure that this guy doesn't get hurt. So and to be honest, I'd love to see Malik Willis in this game at some point.
would
maybe
be fun.
third and fourth. I would love to see him just run and train on these Bears, dude.
We need to clip that. All right, so this is the thing that bothers me though. Think about this scenario. The last time we played the Bears, we beat them with a blocked extra point attempt with no time left. So what if this is a 3-point game?
You mean this guy right here? That guy?
That guy right there. That's him.
Here's the guy.
Shout out to Trevor Anderson. That autograph picture is awesome. And there's going to be, we'll probably give that away. I'm thinking we're going to give away that extra autograph. It's a picture of the blocked extra point, right? And it's Carl Brooks blocking the extra point. It's signed by Carl Brooks, and it says PA block, and it's got the date. Donated by Trevor Anderson, one of our great listeners. So we're going to give that one away during the post-game show of the playoff game. Okay, the wild card game. That's going to be an awesome piece of memorabilia.
Nice.
But back to the comment here. What if it's a 3-point game, boys? What if the Bears are winning by 3 points? I don't want to lose this game and go into the playoffs, on a 2-game losing streak. So that's why
but I don't want to go into the playoffs without Josh Jacobs either.
Yeah, I feel you. But yeah, I know Josh Jacobs' stance. It's, hey, I want to play, right? That's how I do. But I do feel like with the way Emmanuel Wilson's playing, like Coach Lynn's saying, Emmanuel Wilson has been playing great, giving the ball 15 times with Brooks also. Why not press into that, right? You need to jump up on them early. Play your starters, jump up on them early, and just maintain that lead. Go ahead, Jacob. What were you going to say, boy?
No, I was just going to say, my boy A-Fam, you guys know y'all love him. Oh, no. Someone say Malik. I'm saying Malik Heath, Malik the quarterback. Let's go. Let's bring him in around third, fourth quarter. I'm talking, let's get some third and fourth stringers in, or making the Bears look like they're absolute just frauds, because that's what they are. And it would be amazing. Like if Tim said we could go up maybe a little bit early, give Jordan, give Jacobs, give him a couple stats, maybe throw in a tud, maybe running in a tud. And then before you know it, we're rolling in like guys that are actually that are quote unquote backups that can beat the Bears single-handedly.
That would be a fun scenario.
I want Bo Melton racking up hundreds on him. I want Malik Heath. I want our backup defensive guys going in there. And yeah, dude, I want to watch Malik run the wishbone option on these guys and just make them look like idiots, dude. That's what I want to see. It'd be amazing.
Run the old oop to you.
Exactly.
Your dummy O's can't run a draw play, and you've got trick plays. Oopty effing ooh. Oopty effing ooh.
Wait. Best part of the Office series is when they're watching Varsity Blue, and Jan comes in. Better get your milk duds.
He's eating the popcorn. He looks over at Jan and goes, "Hey, Jan." He just goes right back and watches the movie. And
they have Kevin give the synopsis. Here's the deal: Billy Bob can't play.
Oh, I love it. Back to the comment about me being in witness protection here at an undisclosed location. Respect Orange says, "Watch for the flowers by Irene Van." That's what he says.
So Clay, are you okay? Are you all right?
Yeah, we're in Chattanooga tonight, man. We're just running from
blink twice if you're good, Clay.
We're good, man. You kidding me? I just ate some, what's it called? Spascock chicken? Is that what it's called? Where they open up the chicken slow cook?
Yeah, good stuff.
Had that with some roasted potatoes, little Caesar salad.
Not that, Jacob. Stop, Jacob. Get your mind out.
May have had some tiramisu. The neighbors are doing something. I can see out the window. Hey, watching you, buddy. I told Tim we're up here on a ridge top in Chattanooga at this fancy neighborhood, but they're way too classy for me. I'm gonna go out there and pee in the yard later on tonight about 2 a.m. I ain't scared.
It's not in the flower bed, Clay. Not in the flower bed.
We country strong. J. Cole says, I stay in the room when I'm around folks like that, right? That's usually my approach too, but then it goes off the rails here. Prince says, actually, he's being serious. Let's go to Ron first. Ron says, try not to blow the toilet up when at an uppity relative's house. Now that I would know. There you go. And then I like the way Respect Orange has responded. He said, LOL, Ron Clay should do that to claim his dominance.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
We'll walk downstairs and go, hey, Dave, you're going to need a plunger up there, and just go to the bedroom.
He's going to look at you and say,
wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
That's exactly right. All right, let's see here. Prince, being serious, says, if Omar Brown gets elevated tomorrow, that will be his third and final. That's a great point, Prince. And I wonder if what happens with the playoffs, guys? Do we know the rules there? Like, does that rule apply through the playoffs as well, or is it just kind of because I feel like there is a different set of rules when it comes to elevations when you get to the playoffs. I could be wrong there though, but
That's my assumption was that there was a different, like once you get into that, it's a different type of thing. But I'm not a doctor, you know that.
Let's see here. Coach Lynn says, I think Malik Willis can cook this game. That would be awesome. It kind of and here's the reality too that we got to start facing. It's bittersweet, but there's going to be teams with Malik Willis on their radar, right? And there's going to be one specific team. If you hear the name John Robinson and he gets hired as a general manager somewhere, don't be surprised if he comes calling for Malik Willis because he's the guy who drafted Malik Willis in Tennessee. And I think he's the reason that Malik Willis ended up in Green Bay is because Goody probably went to him as a reference saying, hey, what do you think of Malik?
And you're saying where is he now, Clayton? I'm sorry. Can you specify
he's not
that?
in the league right now. I'm pretty sure his name's John Robinson. You guys fact check me on that.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's who drafted Malik Willis. And he comes from the Ted Thompson general manager tree. Like he worked with the Packers for a while, if I remember correctly. So my guess is when Tennessee was shopping Malik, Goody reached out to him and said, hey, John, what do you think of Malik? And I bet John said, Malik's a real deal. I don't know what they're doing down there. And that's probably why they got him, right? So there's a chance that he gets traded, this offseason. That's a real chance. I hope they keep him unless if it's a first-round pick, that's different. But I think we would all agree. I don't think a team is going to give a first-round pick for Malik Willis. So if somebody comes and says, we'll give you the 46th pick in the draft for Malik Willis, I don't care. I think Malik Willis is worth it to keep on the roster because that dude he's just grabbed a hold of this offense and you could tell LaFleur's got a certain rhythm with him for sure.
What's all right? This is a good topic, real quick. What's the number you got to have, Clayton? Tim as well. Mr. Coach Len says, I think we get a third for Malik. If we get a third, I honestly think that's amazing. But you guys know I'm nostalgic for keeping guys. I love Malik Willis. I don't want him to go anywhere, honestly. If you don't give me a first, I'm not looking at you. Tim, what do you think?
Yeah, I think first or high second round pick minimum. But I would like a first round pick. But we also have to keep in mind, are we going to pay north of, $15, $16, $20 million for a backup quarterback? So we have to keep that in mind. And if at the end of the day, the best you can do is a second round pick and, maybe another player, maybe a, supporting cast kind of talent, who knows? But I'm with you guys. I'd like to keep Malik. I'd like him to stay here, but we also don't want to keep him down, hold him down. I mean, let's be honest. He's good enough to start, for a handful of teams in this league right now. So I think you got to get at least a first though for him at the end of the day.
Yeah. And again, I don't think a team is going to offer a first. I really don't.
Neither do I.
We may be surprised, but yeah, that's what it would take. And I understand, like when you're talking about like a high second round pick, it becomes really, really enticing, right? But man, you can't minimize the luxury of having a backup quarterback who can come in and just win you games. Like that's so rare in the league. It's so rare in the league. Ron Sanville says, I wouldn't trade Willis playing in a Super Bowl window. I'd keep him through this contract. Yeah. And it's going to suck, right? It's going to suck to lose him for no. Now, I'm sure there'll be comp picks involved, right? So that'll be somewhat of a trade, right? When you lose a free agent, depending on, it'll take into consideration who you sign in free agency as well. But yeah, that's a real thing there for sure.
Do you guys see any? It's a weird comparison. It really is. But think about the comparison of Willis and a Taysom Hill comparison. Is that even close? Like they have a weird style where it's like, yeah, they can run, they can pass, they can do a bunch of things that the defense cannot defend. Like they just don't know how to game plan for him. Do you think that's even close to being a comparison of how?
Yeah, to me, Taysom Hill carries more value than Malik because Taysom Hill plays on special teams. He can play tight end.
Right.
Like he can do a lot.
But you get what I mean? Like he's a guy where when he's behind the snap, you're like, I don't know what the F this guy's gonna do back there. Especially
when Matt LaFleur breaks out that pony package and they're literally doing 360s. He's spinning around faking the three people. It's wild, man. It's absolutely wild.
What if we just hold on as long as we can, right? Like look into later next year, right? He's under contract next year. We're probably not going to get a first round pick, but like I said, maybe a second. You never know.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Respect Oranges. This is a question or a comment for Jacob. He says Caleb's going to be wrapped up by Cox. So there you go, Jacob, your boy Brent Cox, which keep in mind, guys, on the injury report here, Brenton Cox Jr., he popped up right with the foot injury, if I remember correctly. Or did I just imagine
Did you
that?
say Cox popped up?
Yeah, Cox popped up with a foot injury.
With a foot injury, he is questionable.
Yep. So
don't get excited over there, Jacob. Take it easy.
I imagine they'll sit him, right?
I'm guaranteeing you that Caleb would be happy about Cox popping up. I'm just saying that.
Unbelievable. What's going on here? I'll tell you what.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
This guy, that's the worst picture, too. Oh, my God. All right, let's move it along here.
Better than this one. Oh, yeah, my goodness.
Right. What do you think of that, Jacob? You like that?
No, I don't.
Jacob,
that's Jacob getting out of bed looking for his keys.
Jacob got that. Jacob got that poster of this on the ceiling, don't he? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about, Jacob? Right there.
You didn't know Michael Phelps played football, Jacob?
I didn't know Zoolander played football. Prince in the chat says cornerback Haddon has one practice squad elevation remaining. King has two. You know, that's the thing. Christian Watson's dad the other day put a tweet out talking about Kalen King. And, you know, it's like I'm really excited to see Kalen King get some playing time when he does, man. It'll probably be next year when we see a significant increase. But he's one of those dudes that, to me, he fits the slot role. What if we looked up next year, guys, and you got a camp battle between Bullard and Kalen King runs away with the slot corner position? Well, you're talking about a pleasant surprise. I don't even know if they'll play him at slot, but when you look at his scouting report, when you watch his college tape, he plays so damn physical. I could see him being a slot corner. I really could.
Yeah, but I think that would be that would not be good news for Javon Bullard. That, you know, if someone else stepped up into that slot role, because I think Bullard as a safety he's got a ways to go, right? And when it comes to the rookies, Evan Williams is clearly the better option back there whenever we get him back. But so going into next year, you're right. If we had somebody step up in the slot, you know, who knows, that may bring the best out of Bullard, and he steps up and takes over that slot role going forward.
Yeah. United Bates with a comment here says, found a tweet from Pelissero talking about the postseason roster stuff may help out. Send it to you, Clay. All right, cool. Let me see if I can find it. You boys talk amongst yourselves there for a second. Let me see if I can run that down.
I'm sorry, but Afam, come on, dude. That was a great tweet. But I honestly was thinking, Tim, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You guys know I was in love with Javon Bullard. That was my guy, right? And I have the dignity, the integrity to admit that he's not ready. He wasn't ready to be thrust into this. And honestly, I don't think the Packers organization wanted to do that. We have injuries to Evan Williams. We have injuries to other players. We have injuries that maybe we didn't want to thrust him into that forefront. And I'll be the first to admit that we used to be upset about the fact, the Packers, they don't give their rookies opportunities to play soon enough, right? And now that we're doing it, it's a damned if she does, damned if she don't, right? Like it's just one of those things. You got
to be able to be patient, right? If you're going to put them out there, you got to be willing to watch them fall, right? You know, they're going to stumble. And you learn from your mistakes and you grow from it, right?
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
This was the first thing I pulled up in our messages with Bates here. Is it's MBS tweeting at Kenny Clark back. I think it was a couple of years ago. He said Kenny Clark. He said me hopping Kenny Clark up for Thanksgiving dinner. Look at this. That wasn't the tweet you guys were talking about. So let's move it on down here. Here's the tweet he was referring to. Teams in the playoffs are limited to a total of 4 free agent signings, including players off of other teams' practice squads, for the period beginning after 4 p.m. Eastern next Wednesday, January 10th, and just 2 free agent signings during any week of the playoffs. So it sounds like they kind of take the reins off a little bit, right, is the way I'm reading that. So that's interesting. A little bit more information there in that regard. Let's see if there's a tweet attached to that, too. There may not be. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is probably what he's referring to. All right, so the NFL sent out a memo to the clubs with 2024 postseason roster rules. 2 tweaks. Players waived this Friday or Saturday are on waivers until 4 p.m. Eastern on Monday. Transactions before Saturday night playoff games can be made until 4 p.m. Eastern on game day. It says reminders, any waiver claims are deferred until after the Super Bowl. Teams in the playoffs can immediately sign players that clear waivers to their active roster, practice squad, or futures roster. Okay. And actually there might be a little bit more to that tweet, but that must be no, that's pretty much it. Okay, cool. So Interesting there. Also, 2 practice squad notes. Practice squad contracts expire 7 days after a team's final game or sooner if the team releases him. There is no limit to the number of times a team may elevate a practice squad player during the playoffs. There you go. So once you get to the playoffs, that number that Prince mentioned does not matter now, right? Am I reading that right, guys? Is that how y'all are understanding that as well?
Playoffs?
Bates said below in that thread, he clarifies the practice squad.
Yeah,
okay,
right here.
We got that up. Yep. Yeah. So I don't know. No
There
limit
is
to
no
the number
limit
of
to the
times
number
a
of
team may
times, yeah.
elevate a practice squad player during the playoffs. So
Pretty
there you go.
straightforward.
Yeah.
All right. Good deal. So yeah, that as
I
far
didn't
as
know that. Yeah, that's a good nugget right there.
So you're limited to 3 throughout the regular season. Once you get to the playoffs, all right, take the gloves off. You can pop them up, down, all that.
Coach.
Right?
Yep.
What's wrong with you, Jacob? Go ahead.
Nothing. I'm just saying, random people are making jokes they don't usually make. Coach Len is out here throwing out zingers, and I love it, man. I'm here for it. New year, new coach.
This is Friday night witness protection episode, man. We're going completely off the rails this evening. So, all right. So there is your practice squad talk. We got a couple of tweets we can hit on real quick. I was going to get into some NFL Pro insights, but I'm telling you guys, I'm trying to read. It's like I'm trying to read this off a credit card. It's so tiny, the screen is. So I'm struggling. A couple of tweets that kind of caught my eye earlier. Inside linebacker coach Anthony Campanelli on Edgerrin Cooper quote, "You can see him getting better every day." We kind of talked about that, right? The coaching staff's been pulling him down a little bit, kind of keeping him in check. Here you see Coach Camp building him up. I'm excited about Edgerrin Cooper. Again, I feel like we're beating a dead horse here, but the dude is doing things that I've never seen a linebacker do in Green Bay, and that includes A.J. Hawk. And I am the biggest A.J. Hawk stan alive. I love watching A.J. Hawk. He played so fundamentally sound. He hardly ever missed a game. He was always a team captain, voted by his teammates. Like, he's just everything you want in a middle linebacker. He won the Super Bowl. He's a national champion, right? And I never seen AJ flash the way Edgerrin Cooper is. I go back to the Nick Barnett days. Yeah. Nick Barnett never looked like that. You know, he was good, don't get me wrong, but he has never looked like that. The closest thing I've seen is Clay Matthews when they moved him to inside linebacker, but even Clay didn't flash like this at mock. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think Clay always felt more comfortable on the outside than in the middle.
Clayton, could I ask you a question, sir? It seemed like today, I'm not going to say that you posted a teaser, but it did say something that a Packers coach kind of posted a teaser, right? Where it was like, hey, we may have a new kind of lineup for my boy Edgerrin Cooper there. And it kind of gave it the impression that he'd be more like, who's the guy from Dallas? I'm sorry, Micah, right? Micah Parsons?
Yeah, Micah Parsons, yeah. So
Halfway giving you that side eye. He's like, man, don't be giving away my plans, man.
Right. And again, we actually had the drop there of Halfley saying it. If I could find it again, Coach Halfley actually spoke about it. It was last night. We can hit it real quick if you want to. There's not a whole lot to it, but
I guess I'm just curious: do you want him to actually be designated that people know that he's quote unquote an edge or lineup? Or you think maybe do like that kind of shadow? You know, what do we call that? When they rush up and they kind of just pretend that they're going to rush, but they're not going to do it,
or like
that. But they're also. Yeah, like do we want him to be that type of linebacker, or do we want him to just have more of the capability to be more of like a all-around sound linebacker, or are we going to actually show him rushing off the edge?
I think we're going to do everything. I think that's what he brings to the table, right? He's an all-around backer. Let him be an all-around backer.
But this is how people react, though. Like when we hired Jeff Halfley, most of the media members go, "Oh, it's going to be an aggressive man coverage defense." We knew that wasn't going to be the case, right? So here now, this is the comment that Jeff Halfley made. We'll just play the soundbite for y'all. I apologize. I wish we could crank it up, but this is as loud as we can make it.
I don't know if they're sliding to him, but they were certainly aware of where he was.
I was going to say, so putting him on the edge at times is that one of the things you can
look at him, watch him grin.
Maximize his pass rush?
There's a lot of things we can do to maximize his pass rush. I think we're just scratching the surface. We did some fun things with him today that he looked pretty good at doing, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. We'll have to wait until we see it on film one of these days. But I just think in time, like you asked about Board, right? I mean, you just got to be careful with how much you give them early. And then it just like eventually you fill up a glass and everything just spills out. So you just got to go slow with it. And I think he's progressed well. He's another guy, though, that he's been injured and he hadn't practiced as much. And now he's starting to get into it. So hopefully that consistency goes.
Nice.
Thick.
That was the comment.
He looked like a guy that was about to open up a present that he knew was in there.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
So
He's like, "Oh, I wonder what this is. A PS5."
Yeah. And here's the thing, like, if you're asking me, should we make him an edge defender? Absolutely not.
No.
But I think what Hafley's talking about is mixing and matching and putting him in a position where he can do more things because he's got that versatility. Guys, we don't know exactly what he means by that comment, right? You guys in the chat are off the damn rails. That's why I don't believe Holmes is a doctor, because he's as juvenile as anyone in the chat. I don't even know if that's the right word, but we're rolling with it, right? But
I got some advice for y'all. Take 2 weeks off, then quit.
You guys remember when Micah Parsons burst on the scene and he was a linebacker, right? You remember how good that Dallas defense was? And then they switch him to edge defender, and what happens? Slowly that Dallas defense is kind of coming back down. There's a lot to be said about having that guy roaming in the middle, helping stop the run. You could still blitz him at any moment. You can call a play where you go, okay, look, we're going to shift into an overload front, right, and put him as the left defensive end. You can do that. But to do it down in and down out, I think would be a total waste of Edgerrin Cooper's strength, which is start, stop, shoot, and just stuff in the run, man. He's got that natural ability to kind of sniff those runs out. So I think that's what Ron was saying in the chat too.
Yeah, you actually took that. That's the words I was trying to say, Clayton. You're very much more articulate than I am trying to voice what I'm trying to say. That was basically my question is, do we ruin what he does as a standalone, like actual linebacker versus just throwing him on the edge and just be like, all right, try to hit the quarterback. Let's see if the defense can stop it. I mean, I think it's more of a chess game, right?
Yeah, definitely, man. You want to be able to, like when you're playing offense in the NFL, as a quarterback, you come to the line and you've got pre-snap read. You're looking at the defense going, okay, based off what they've got on tape, here's the pre-snap read. This is what I think they're in. And then you got to try to put yourself in a position, whether it was setting the protection or, audible into another play, cannon out to another play, whatever it is, right? And then you've got the post-snap read. Well, the more unpredictable you make your defense, you're forcing quarterbacks to read post-snap, right? That's what you're seeing in Green Bay. We're mostly just bringing a four-man rush, but we're bringing it from different areas just about every single play, right? It's very rare that you'll see back-to-back plays where all four linemen will just do a straight rush. There'll be a TT mixed in, and then the next snap, it'll be a TE, and everything is gap sound both against the run and the passing lanes as well. So, and then you'll see them mug the A gap. They'll do a will fire. They'll drop bar A out, and you're still just rushing forward, but you're constantly making the quarterback think and adjust. And the way a quarterback reads a defense, typically they come to the line, they read the boundary safety and the Sam backer, right? And if there's no Sam backer on the field, you're essentially reading the Mike, the linebacker that's on the strong side of the formation, the tight end side of the formation. And that gives you a certain amount of information to go, okay, here's what I think they're running. That's why the cover 9 defense is so productive in college, is because a cover 9 is basically a cover 6 defense where instead of the nickel side being the cover 4 and the weak side being, or the tight end side being the half cover, you got a quarter double in that case. Instead, it flips it. So let me put it this way. If a team runs a lot of cover 6, right, and this is just one example, one minute example of how quarterbacks have to read defense. Quarterback comes to the line and we got a nickel defense, and they go, okay, we're going slot corner left, right, nickel left. Okay, cool. That's going to be the quarter side if they run cover 6. But if you run cover 9, it's actually going to be the quarter side on the opposite side. So typically the way you'll combat a cover 6 defense is you'll run a slot cross concept, something where you've got a deep crosser with an underneath option as well. If you go trip side, you can go dagger with slot cross. We've seen Jaden Reed make hay with that the last 2 years. When you do that against a cover 9, guess what happens? You think as an offense they're in cover 6 and you're running that slot cross towards the half side, and you're actually running it right into the teeth of the defense, right? So it's just one example of you want to stay unpredictable. And again, I know it's a long way to get to that whole answer to that question with Adrian Cooper, but you want to stay unpredictable. And people hear that and they think, yeah, we need to blitz more. No, that's not what we're saying. You've got to stay unpredictable with your front. You've got to stay unpredictable with your coverage, both at the backer position. And, why has Carrington Valentine got both his interceptions? He's broke off of his route because it was covered and it was not an immediate threat to get the interception. Do you think for a second Sam Darnold throws that ball to Carrington Valentine if he thinks he's going to break off his coverage? He didn't read Mabel. That's the first time Mabel made chalk talk this year. First time I've seen it. That's Hafley going, you know what? Teams are starting to attack that now. Let's go triple flat on that side, meaning 3 layers of outside coverage because they're going to try to attack the sideline. And they didn't even do it against a trip set or a tray set. That was a dub set. That was a 2x2 set. And they knew they were going to try to hammer that corner route on our cover 2 side. And here's Carrington Valentine sitting in a Mabel for the pick. So
I was actually just real quick going to ask, do you think that they're starting to look at these types of coverages? Like, it seems like the younger players, the Stokes, the Valentines, these guys at the linebacker position, some of our younger safeties who obviously aren't playing the best ball, but are starting to, they are actually reacting though to certain coverages and they're adapting to them quicker than we thought that maybe they could, kind of thing. Like it's, and a lot of people aren't giving them enough credit. And we've talked about that, especially with the Stokes and the Valentines and that kind of stuff. But for where we are, again, I don't want to rehash anything, but it's like the people that aren't saying we have a good team, we got a really good team of young players that are pulling stuff out of their butts right now. And more than we should ever even be expecting. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it is. And I think what you just said about Hafley and trusting a guy like Valentine in those situations to give him that responsibility. It's the 7th round draft pick in his second year. And in this system, in this scheme, clearly we're putting a lot on Carrington's plate, and he's answered the call this year so far.
Yep.
So I think that's fair, Jacob. I do. I really do.
And Ari Ironminer saying we still need more pressures to help those guys out. He's spot on.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah, pressure with 4. Pressure from that front. Not dialing up blitzes, but pressure with 4.
And I believe that's what Ari Ironminer is saying here. But there's some people that would read that and go, yeah, we need to blitz more. No, that puts more stress on your DBs, especially when it's a quarterback. And as you get into the playoffs, these quarterbacks are going to be able to read a blitz. I'm sorry. That's just Sam Darnold can't. And you'll see the few times that we blitzed on Sunday, he chewed us up, boys, because he can throw those hot window passes.
We need that 3-tech, like you said, man.
Yeah.
What do you think about Greg's comment here? He says, my point is if we have 2 inside linebackers on the field and nickel, and we play nickel the most, we can stay at Mike/Will. Does that,
absolutely.
Does that make sense? That's kind of what we're talking, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, you're not going to be a nickel all the time. It depends on the team you're playing, right? Are they going to play, if they play 21 or 12 and you stay in nickel and it's a team like, say, the Rams, if they stay in their 12 and you go nickel, Kyron Williams is going to smack you in the mouth all day long. So you got to be diligent with you being, staying with your base packages. You got to stay in that 4-3 if you want to stop the run. If you try to stop the run in nickel, it's all about matching personnel, which everybody knows that. We're kind of beating a dead horse here, but you're spot on there though. I like him at inside linebacker. I don't want to screw a good thing up because again, he can cover the seam in Tampa too. That's what makes him and Quay on the field so valuable is they both can take the seam in a Tampa too, right? They've got the athleticism to do it. They've both proven it. Both made great plays there. So with Quay out, you're limited. We've seen it, right? We've seen it on Sunday. Eric Wilson, he didn't play bad coverage. We showed it on Chalk Talk. They came out in a dub set and they challenged the seam, knowing we were going to be in a Tampa 2 from time to time. They challenged the seam with 2 skinny posts, and Eric Wilson bent to the number 2 wide receiver, right? The 2 there, knowing that Hawkinson's going to attack the seam too. I thought he played it pretty well. He was a half a step late, but Quay gets there on time. There's no doubt in my mind. And he's got, 2 or 3 inches of height on Eric Wilson to help make the play too. And if people think that doesn't matter, you're kidding yourself. I mean, you get on a football field with someone who's got a 3 or 4 inch height advantage over you, and they're covering you. Good luck.
Come on.
It's like Coach Len said, man. Can we have one game this season and get Cooper and Quay on the field at the same time?
Right.
Pretty please, with sugar on top. Please, please, please.
Yeah,
I'm with you, Coach Len. I've been waiting on it because you're right, Clay. Wilson doesn't play bad coverage. He's not a bad cover linebacker, but there's a difference between not bad and good or great or phenomenal. And I think, like you said, half a step off, Quay or Coop probably gets there half a step early, or at least in stride, and it's just a fact.
I agree. Coach Lynn also says, what are your true thoughts on LVN's progression so far? I think he is progressing. Now, if you didn't watch any of the tape and you just went to PFF, you go, this guy's a bum. He's a bust. But when you watch the tape and you also look at the GPS tracking on Next Gen Stats of his pressure percentage, he has gotten better as the years gone along. As soon as Preston Smith was traded and he started getting a few more snaps, he's gotten better. With that being said, though, so far this year, Brenton Cox Jr. has been a better edge rusher than LVN. I feel like LVN's a better run defender, but Brenton Cox Jr. is a better pass rusher as it sits right now. And there's some people saying LVN's snap count's going down. We don't truly know the reason why he might have had 2 or 3 snaps less. It could have been a shoe problem. It could have been he didn't feel right for a play, right? That's why you got to be really careful with just judging the snap count.
Didn't he have a thumb injury or something?
Yeah. I think he broke it. Somebody said that. I thought
dislocated or broken thumb or something.
Yeah.
They had to take him in the blue tent, and they said he was distraught when it happened too. So that thing was probably hanging like a little Larry McCarron special there. So, but yeah, Coach, I see progression with LVN. I really do, man. And that's another reason why I lean toward 3-tech over edge defender in the draft, because it's like you've got LVN and Brenton Cox Jr. showing all this promise. Enigbari is flash from time to time. Gary is playing solid football regardless of what the ranters on Twitter think. As you see here, Bill Huber talking about Coach Reb saying he raves about Rashawn Gary's win rate versus the run much better than it has been. We've talked about it all year long because it's all over the tape. And that's all I said, all over the tape. That's all I'm leaving on the tweet. Y'all can get mad at me if you want, but it's all over the tape. You don't believe me? Go watch Chalk Talk the last 3 or 4 weeks. We've been talking about it. So what were you going to say, Jacob? You got something?
No, just kind of in that same vein. It's like, is it time for people to say that Cooper should have the green dot? I mean, are we ready to have that conversation? We're talking about guys on defense who can be absolute game changers, who should be the leaders. You guys tell me, because obviously Quay's hurt. We don't know what he can bring to that table, but at the same time, it's like, when do you realize that a certain person is equipped to be a frickin' real quick back up? Did y'all see Tucker Kraft mic'd up again by chance against the Vikes? And he made my hair stand up. He walked up to somebody, I can't remember who it was, and he goes, "May your hammer be mighty, war God." And he walked away, and I was like, "Oh God!" I was like, "Oh no, Tucker."
Now, with Adrian Cooper in the green dot, you'd like to think it's just as simple as, okay, they're relaying the play into him. But Matt LaFleur and Hafley have been very, very vocal that he's having problems getting to the right spot, right? It has nothing to do with his ability to play football. He's awesome. Yeah. But he's in some cases, his split's slightly off. In some cases, he's shooting the gap when he needs to be playing a little safer. We talked about that with Joe Barry, and I got roasted for it constantly. It's like you can't just play reckless. It's going to bite him. It's going to bite him sooner or later.
I honestly
think, boy, it's fun to watch, man.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. It is basically this podcast. If Clay doesn't have the green dot, I'm sorry. It's just going to be a little off. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to have exactly the same flow. We're not going to know what the heck we're going to do. Me and Tim are going to talk about stuff. Emilo's going to pop on. We're going to talk about burritos. It's going to be like a weird thing. Like, we need to have somebody that has the connection with the coach, that has that green dot into their head. It's like, hey, man, this is the direction that we've decided to go with this team. And I think that just needs to be understood. I would like to see Coop do it in the future, but I just think right now, Hafley still thinks that Quay's that guy. Am I wrong in thinking that? Or
no, I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so at all. Listen to what Coach Half said in that clip we just played, right? Yep. It's like you put too much in that glass of water, it starts spilling out. And like Clayton just said, it has nothing. It's not an indictment on Coop's ability to play football. He has every physical attribute you need. He has the FBI, but if he's missing a gap assignment here and there, or he's not sure quite yet where he's supposed to be, we can't trust him to line everybody else up and get those calls in yet. Right. And so I think what you said is true. Maybe next year, for that. I don't know. Quay Walker got the green dot in year 2, he actually wore it a few times during his rookie year. That, we all saw how that turned out, folks.
Yeah, so 100%.
Let's be honest, like give him time. But I do think Coop could be the green dot of the future for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in my opinion, if Quay's healthy, I want him to wear the green dot.
Yep.
If Quay isn't healthy, there's nothing I would love more than Edgerrin Cooper to have the capability of wearing the green dot. Right now, it just sounds like he's not there. Now, they lifted the veil a little bit on us this past week. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Half that said it, that Xavier McKinney is making the checks on the backside. So he's kind of playing quarterback out there. So even though someone else is wearing the green dot, McKinney's able to change the play, get guys in the right position, that type of thing, right? So there is a little bit of a tandem there, but until he's ready, man, I want Quay wearing it, and that's why I want Quay out of he's out in this game, right, Tim? We already established that Quay.
Yeah, he's been ruled out.
Yeah, I want him out in this game so he can get ready for the playoffs, so we can see Edgerrin Cooper and Quay. Hopefully that happens. Hopefully it does. So I know we got great news here. Like I said, we kind of mentioned on the injury report already, but Rob Demoski said Packers coach Matt LaFleur said Christian Watson did get outside and did some work in practice. That was encouraging, is what LaFleur said. Again, play it safe. Keep him sitting if you need to, right? Did you guys know about Luke Getsy? Did y'all hear about this?
Yeah.
I did see that.
Pretty well.
I synced it.
Yeah, I synced it too. Luke Getsy been working undercover for the Packers. Matt Schneidman said in a tweet. Matt LaFleur says Luke Getsy is known as, quote, the mayor here. He's been helping the Packers out on the defensive side of the ball for weeks. This week was the first time he's been here in person. So he's been helping, kind of like what Robert Saleh's been doing, right? And people roll their eyes at Luke Getsy, but listen, Luke Getsy was a quarterback coach when Aaron won 2 MVPs, if I remember correctly, right? So I mean, like, it's true. Not like, yeah, whatever.
Hey, you want to go conspiracy route? Do you think?
Yes.
Do you think Luke Getsy is waiting in the wings to take over for a certain other quarterback whisperer coach that may or may not retire again?
Somebody tweeted that earlier. I remember seeing that. They were like, hey, does this mean that maybe Tom Clements is looking to step down? I hope not. But they've also got Sean Mannion, and I'm really intrigued to see. I love how LaFleur hired Sean Mannion 2 years ago, right? He was fresh out of the NFL. He played in Sean McVay's system in the LA Rams, so he knows the offense top to bottom, right? Matt LaFleur hires him to study under Tom Clements, right? One thing's for sure, it feels like Matt is so damn tired of his coaches getting poached that he's just filling the room with all kinds of people with experience to be ready to fill those voids as other coaching staffs do poach them, because it's going to happen again. I think Steno might be pretty close too, boys. I think it's a matter of time before Steno will get an opportunity. I really do.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, so the Luke Getsy conspiracy, we talked about it. I think that's it. I think we're all caught up. Let's see here. Yeah. Well, Pack Daddy, I had to retweet this. He said earlier today, and this goes hand. It's nice to know we're not the only ones dealing with this. He said, I've never dealt with a more miserable fan base than Packers fans in 24-25. Now LaFleur is a problem because he's showing emotion like every coach since forever. Dude is upset with bad calls and bad plays on the field. Wow, what a douche. People just love making up random reasons to be mad. It's just, it's wild. The fan base, 100%. We got to be better as a fan base.
100%. I actually put a post out. I can't remember exactly how I worded it, but I thought self-praise sucks always. But I just thought the Packer fans this year, they're the type of people that just, they wake up and they choose to be angry, right? They're like, if I didn't step in dog poop, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have my dog or myself poop in the yard and just walk through it and be like, I stepped in it. Stepped out. No, it's like, just come on. Some days you don't step in poop, brother. It's a good day. Just be having a good day.
You poop my hand, so.
That's right, Coach. Chris Ian says they started Bull at safety day one. Remember, it's a great point, right? He was thrown into the fire from day one, so you gotta give him room to grow. Tim, you talked about this.
Yeah,
we're always complaining they never get the rookies a chance. They never give the rookies a chance. Then they give the rookies a chance, and we're like, this guy ain't ready. Get him off the field. You can't do that, right? You can't be emotionally charged like that.
And especially when you put a rookie out with a week of prep at one spot, and then in the blink of an eye, he's got to move to another spot,
Yep.
And he's a rookie. He's not Charles Woodson, like
yeah.
Give him some time. We just need a little bit of patience, I think, as a fan base.
Yeah, we'll go rapid fire here real quick and wrap this thing up. We're not going to do 2 segments because I don't have the software to edit and all that. So, and again, that Flowers by Irene band is back out front, so I got to keep an eye out for it. Right, that might be some case in the joint here. J. Cole says, "Why does a certain segment of the fans hate AJ Hawk?" I'll tell you exactly why. He was a top 5 pick. That's why. if he had been picked in the second round, they would think he was one of the best linebackers ever played in Packer history. But people just love to hate on first-round picks when they are not absolute stud superstars because they don't understand how the draft truly works. You can miss on a first rounder easier than you can any other round, man. Most cases, it's easier to miss on it because you're focused on, wow, you got all these elite athletes. Well, this guy ran a little bit quicker than him. Let's take a chance on him as opposed to this one. Sometimes it's easier to miss in the first round, right? But
this guy's a 91 on my Madden.
Exactly. And he's only costed $3 million.
And he can play tight end, quarterback, and receiver.
Let's see here. Ron Samble says Carmen Vitali. Am I saying that right, guys?
Yes. I think so, yeah, Vitali.
Had such a good take on this Packers team on Pack-A-Day today. Says fans need to step back and appreciate how good this young team is. That's what we've been saying is like, it's the youngest team in the freaking league.
Yeah.
And you guys are acting like if we don't win 15 games in the Super Bowl, it's all a bust. It's like, man, it's okay to have high expectations. I got you. But when you set unrealistic expectations, like I feel like our expectations are pretty fair. We said 10 to 13 wins, and you're going to have a chance to win the Super Bowl this year. You'll have a much better chance next year. But that's kind of where we sit. There's some fans, it's just like you said, man, they want to be miserable. They do.
Could I quick, like to that point, talking about Mark Murphy's tenure here, 14 out of 17 times we've made the playoffs, guys. Right. If there's nothing else, then you need to know we get a chance. Like just shut the, up about the regular season. It all counts when you're in the playoffs. And we've gotten there almost 80% of the time. That's a winning organization, people. Please.
And how do you not love these two guys? Like, how do you not love these guys? I mean, you got Shug Hafley and Tupac LaFleur, man. Come on now.
Let's go.
Yeah. And Coach Lynn says Lloyd officially done for the year. Wow. So there's some breaking news there. Marshawn Lloyd is done.
I saw that actually.
So it must have been way worse than we thought, right? It sucks.
Even worse than that, right there.
But I will tell you this: if there's a position where you go, you know what, shut it down, not a big deal. It's running back because Emmanuel Wilson has played his butt off, man. I'm really, really just so thankful that Emmanuel Wilson's our backup running back, man.
Yeah, considering everything with AJ Dillon in the preseason, right? We had a lot of question marks there. He took the team-friendly deal. He had the stinger, had the setback. We were excited about Marshawn Lloyd. You lose a rookie prospect like that, and we get guys that step up. I'm proud of Emmanuel Wilson, man. Just look at the development in the last 2 years for that guy. We saw flashes out of him last season, and then he got hurt, had to come back from injury towards the end of the year, played good football, and he's carried that momentum all the way through the offseason, OTAs, camp, all the way up through this year, and he's a legit number 2 back in this offense for sure.
I agree.
Yeah. Definitely. And last comment we'll hit on here, we'll go ahead and wrap up, guys. Drew D says, how about all the stadium expansions in Titletown District under Murphy? Man, Jacob, you got to see it firsthand. Tim lives there. Tim sees it all the time, right? I'd be out there with a tent on the lawn at Titletown if I lived in Green Bay. They'd have to run me off.
Security kind of frowns upon that sort of thing, though.
You Tim. You
probably don't want you to put a tent out there.
I'm not even lying, dude. I swear to God, when me and Clayton walked up there, I saw it. Like it's just, and it literally brought a tear to my grown, dumb, hardened heart life. I was like, wow. And it really did. It made me almost tear up because I was like, this is what everything that you should ever hope the franchise of football is for, man. There was kids running around. There was people having fun. But remember, a random Bear fan handed us a beer while we're walking back, and we're like, "What?" They know what's up. Like we're playing the Rams. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
I think Drew's absolutely right with what he's saying about the expansions in the district, and to Mark Murphy's credit too. You talk about I'm blessed to live up here. You see Mark out there all the time, like every other morning. He's going for his run or his walk, taking a little lunch break or something near Titletown and the facility, and it's just something special. I mean, we had a Kmart over there, guys. Kmart parking lot.
What Tim and Clayton? What's your the phrase? It's not we're not building a team, or what is it again?
We're building a team. We're not collecting talent.
Exactly. So what that means is that you can walk through that town, that everybody walks out of their house, and literally was like, "Hey, good morning," with their coffee. Like, let's go, let's win this. You know what I mean? This is what it's what the cheesy movies think they can make is actually in reality what we do here in Green Bay. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Ron Sample says, I miss Kmart. Now, hey, I've still got a shirt that says training camp. It's a sleeveless shirt. It doesn't fit anymore, but it's a sleeveless shirt that says training camp 2004. Who wants it more? And it's got the Green Bay Packer logo. I bought that at that Kmart. And
I love it.
I will have it forever. It's absolutely awesome. So, Kmart. Moment of silence for Kmart in Green Bay, please. Moment. I'm being serious. Moment of silence.
Sorry.
All
okay, all right, let's move on.
All right. You guys got anything?
He's the Kmart's all over the place, right?
Anything else you guys got, boys, before we wrap up here, man?
No, I would just echo that sentiment and say that I think Mark Murphy probably had about
65%. 65%. That's what
of the say in the development of things, and we owe him a big debt of gratitude, and just glad that things look the way they look over there at Titletown and at 1265. So thank you, Mark Murphy.
Oh, you beat me. All right. Miss Green got something to say here. She goes, one time I was using the secret shortcut through the Lambeau parking lot and got cut off by Mark Murphy. He gave me the Midwest my bad luck.
I love it. My favorite thing too was
which I know what that is. Yes.
Yes.
The other day they said that when he got honored at halftime, he's going to the Packer Hall of Fame this year, obviously, that when he came up, one of the reporters said, "Hey, congratulations." He said, "Thanks. Is there any food left?" When he got back upstairs, he was just going to hit the buffet up there. Like, yeah, that's nice. Appreciate y'all. He waved to the crowd. I got to get back upstairs for all this food's gone. So love that dude, man. Love him. So, all right. That's it, guys. We're out. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. This was fun. Sorry if it was a little off the rails, but if you've seen the size of this screen that I'm trying to read off of, my head's hurting. But with that being said, we will be back in the morning at 8:30 Central Time to try it again. Same setup, same bat time, same bat channel. So, Tim, you good for the morning, bub?
Yes, sir.
Jacob, you good? Or you?
I'm gonna give it a whirl like Emilio, but who knows?
Emilio ain't gonna be on. You kidding me? I think Emilio said he will be back for the post game show. Is the plan, I believe. So
nice.
All right.
All right, everybody, have a great evening. Appreciate y'all hanging out. If you would hit that like button for us, we will see you guys tomorrow morning. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. Thank you for putting up with us. We appreciate you. We'll see y'all in the morning. Take care. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. Go Pack. Go.
And we go.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.